and as blunt as he would want to be. But look, my point with Stolarz is that just don't put that attention on yourself, man. You're a really good goalie. If I was somebody on the coaching staff, that's exactly what I would have said to him, person to person.
One more for me, and you can speak of this because you lived the position, you played the position. If a couple of guys on a team are pissed off at a goalie, is there a chance subconsciously they could play different around you?
Oh man, that's such a good question. I believe in that all the way. You know, I believe in people sticking up for people that they love.
I've had teammates, Valley, not to cut you off, but I've had teammates saying, "You think I'm going to block a shot for that guy now?"
Yeah. Hey, buddy, as a backup that played once every 2 weeks, can you imagine the teammate I was? I'm giving tips, I'm juggling, I'm backflipping. Anybody want more shots? You know, like, I knew when I got in there it was an event. So I also knew that I had to, you know, reach that level of credibility with my teammates to make sure they were going to battle for me. And I feel like I was very well liked and respected, and I feel like everybody gave me everything they had on the ice. So I do believe in that. I do believe in that. The locker room is such a sacred place, and nobody knows if it's fractured or not except for the guys in there. And you know how pockets can get created and subplots can manifest. It can kill a season. I mean, I've seen it both ways, guys, where the more time you spend with your teammates, the closer you are. And then sometimes you can kind of screw that up too, because you're at bottle service and then all of a sudden, you know, somebody picks up the bill and the next day he's coming around the locker room with a hat and they're like, "Oh, I thought you picked that one up last night. Oh, okay, that's how you are. I guess I'm not going out with you next weekend." You know, like.
But poker games I've seen destroy a dressing room.
Big time. Hey, by the way, a story that never really got out, but I know of a star player that was taking money off rookies and got traded. Like, that's a real thing, you know. And yeah, like, stories like this go around the league, and you know, I'm not in the room any longer, but I know that stuff exists for sure.
I really like the expression, "Truth hurts, truth helps." You know, I think for a team, these are essential processes to go through, and this is what Kip and I got into a little bit. And I think what forms these cliques you're talking about is guys who don't have the you-know-whats to say it to the guy. And instead it's, "Hey, you know, he never backchecks. That guy doesn't do his job." Yeah, I know. You know, like, that's how that stuff gets started to me. I am curious to see which way it goes for the Leafs. For the years here, we haven't heard anyone say anything like this. So that was the root of our discussion
Publicly,
yesterday.
though, but it was said in the dressing room. Stolarz, everything that he said publicly, my understanding is he said it after the game. So it was said already. The only difference was, did John the mailman need to hear it too, you know, moments later?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but I'll stand on the word I said earlier, which is, you know, you left the playoffs last year. You gotta kind of just keep your head down, keep your mouth shut, and work your butt off, and
that's
just
good.
Stay out of it.
All right, let's move on from the Toronto Maple Leafs, the team they're going to be playing tonight. They got the New Jersey Devils. Jake Allen playing more than Markstrom, with Markstrom hurt. Allen off to a pretty good start this year, Valley.
Yeah, he is. His numbers represented above the board are stronger than his analytical numbers. But last year, when he could have been a free agent at the end of the year, he was the goalie I consulted with the teams that I work with to go after and get, because his year last year was outstanding. His numbers were head and shoulders above Markstrom's last year. And you can see why he's holding his own again. He's kind of one of those Renaissance type goalies that has been in the game a really long time, been on the rails, and figured it out maybe a little bit later, how to be consistent. For a long time, the book on Jake Allen was that when the team was not allowing a lot but needed a save, he didn't come through. But when the team wasn't playing well and he had a lot of volume, that's when he would perform, when the pressure wasn't as important at the time. So there's game states where you can measure these things, and it does check out. That's kind of been the book on Jake, but now I feel like he can play any kind of game. He can play a game where he doesn't feel a lot and still make a big save, or the opposite side of the coin where he gets a lot of volume and can still play big.
Got to ask you about Detroit, and there's no question that Detroit's better with Gibson, right? But are they like playoff better with Gibson?
You know, Gibby's like, he's a tough one because for years I thought that he was the easiest pre-scout in the NHL because he was such a challenger, and you can fade off of not shooting because he was so good on the open shot and pass it. And I feel like now he's, again, maybe with age a little bit, matured and backed up in his crease so that he's not just a first shot goalie. He can be available. I think for years too, because Anaheim was so poor that, you know, it was almost safer not to be too responsible, because if you do over challenge, you can say I had my guy, and you can give up the pass. And whereas now I feel like, especially with, you know, what came out with Detroit after their first couple games, they've been running hot since. He's kind of playing to win now, and Talbot he's been terrific as well. So both guys are going well, and they got a good thing going in Detroit. You know, I was kind of surprised actually looking at today was one of the days where, you know, you're 2 weeks into the season and I have to go through who's performing well, whose environment is difficult. And there's some surprises right now around the league, guys. Like Connor Hellebuck is the top performing goalie again, analytically. And this year, the difference though is that Winnipeg, as good as they're playing as far as results, and they look like they're coasting, they're giving up a lot. They're giving up the third most high danger scoring chances in the NHL right now, and their environment is third difficult. Interesting too though, Borny, Sorokin's just getting killed right now on Long Island. What's going on there? He's facing 11 high danger chances against a game. That's insane on average. Typically NHL worst team is about 8. That's how bad the Islanders have been defensively. Is that what you've seen?
Wait a second. They got the greatest 18-year-old to play 26 minutes a night ever.
Yeah.
How can this be?
Right. They're giving up a lot. Wow, I'm surprised. So that's the toughest environment in the NHL right now is Long Island. Second toughest environment is Ottawa, Linus Ullmark. His numbers reflect that. His save percentage, Linus is on his scoring chances, is .843, which is lowest amongst all starting goalies in the NHL. A couple guys that have come back really well. Jake Ottinger, Spencer Knight has been terrific.
Oh, yeah.
And they both have a little bit of a look to them that's similar. We were speaking last week about Vasilevsky, how he's upright, but he's almost too high. And those two guys, Ottinger last year very wide, he's got his feet under him. Spencer Knight, especially when he was younger, he felt a little more confident getting wide and getting closer to the ice, so you're actually closer to the puck. But now he's got a better balance. He's got his feet under him. He looks terrific. Both guys, I think, are going to have big years as long as they can keep the posture they have as well as the feet under them. And you know, just technically, because I was on the ice this morning, I was working with a big